You know, the economic situation is downright scary when presidential candidates John McCain and Barack Obama are putting aside politics to come together on this financial crisis. Obama called McCain to issue a joint statement, and McCain suspended his campaign to head to bailout talks in Washington. And to top that off, the FBI is now looking at whether the mortgage giants, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, were bailing out or doing anything illegal. Not just bad management. We're talking about a fraud investigation here. We're taking your calls on this at 1-877-TEL-HLN. And joining us now to talk about this, we've got the Watchdog on Wall Street, Chris Markowski. He's the host of the radio show by the same name. Chris, thanks for being with us. All right, we know the urgency that President Bush is trying to portray here. He's going to speak tonight to basically say something needs to be done and done now. Do you see that? Do we need to get something done within the next few days, within the week?
Oh, I definitely think we need something done. I mean, you can just take a look at the credit markets. Caterpillar yesterday went out to the commercial paper markets, needed to get some money, and the rates we were paying were much, much too high. I want everybody to think of almost like our economy choking on a big piece of steak. And we need a big Heimlich maneuver to get it going. And I don't want people to think that this is so much of a bailout for Wall Street, but almost an injection of capital into our credit market so business can keep going. I would have rather they did some more common sense measures like, I don't know, maybe do some capital gains tax cuts. I don't hear anybody talking about that. But the political situation as it is right now, it looks like it's a bailout.
So your take is do something and do it now. And you agree with the $700 billion? You think that's the way to go?
Well, they got to have to, tie some strings to this, but we're at the point right now we don't have any other choice. I'd rather do some other things. I'd rather do some tax cuts, targeted tax cuts, getting rid of the capital gains, making the Bush tax cuts permanent, doing some stimulus for business, getting things, almost priming the pump for our economy. But that's not going to happen this close to an election.
Okay, let's get some calls in. I know there's some folks that are not for this bailout. Let's hear from them and have you field the questions. Mike from Maine. Mike, go ahead.
Hello.
Hey, Mike.
How you doing?
Good. You like the idea of a bailout or not, Mike?
I do not.
How come?
Well, I'm a taxpayer, and right now I'm behind on some taxes, and nobody's reaching out to help me.
Well, Mike, I agree
Go
with
ahead.
I agree with you 110%, Mike. No one's reaching out to help me pay for anything that I have or any of my bills as well. But the situation as it is right now is the credit markets are freezing up. What I think we need to do, Mike, is we need to attach some strings to this where we don't allow this to happen again. We need to get off the hamster wheel. We need to break up these big banks. We need to get rid of this too big to fail nonsense by not making these banks so big so when they do fail, it brings everything down with us.
Okay, let me ask you, Chris, again about this timeline. What if we wait 2 weeks, 4 weeks? What happens?
If you're going to just watch a lot of volatility in the overall stock market, I don't know what the time frame is. I know Bush is pushing for it away. I don't have the same information that the Treasury Secretary has, nor the Fed has. They're saying they need it now. I kind of wish that if we could go back to March, and I hate playing Monday morning quarterback, maybe we just let Bear Stearns fail back in March. Maybe we'd be in a much better spot right now because maybe a lot of these banks would have been forced to do the right thing a long time ago. Who knows? But right now, the credit markets are very, very tight, and that doesn't just affect Wall Street, that affects everybody out there.
So again, you're of the mindset we don't have any choice. Let's get another call in. Mary in Florida. Mary, go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, Mary.
Hey.
You're for or against the bailout, Mary?
I'm against it.
How come, Mary?
Well, let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
If you look back in history, now I lived through the last Depression, okay? If we just wait, why are they in such a damn big hurry? This is stupid. They're in too big a hurry. They're pushing too fast, and this is the same thing that Bush did during the war.
There you go. Some straight talk from Mary. Chris, and there's been some, obviously, on Capitol Hill. Chris Dodd saying, let's wait. We got to get this right. I think Chuck Schumer was suggesting, can we try $150 billion to start and go from there?
I think that these all valid arguments. There's no doubt about it. I do think that you need to work through the details. I think one of the problems is that on prior situations we never dealt with Freddie and Fannie Mae. You take a look at the real root cause of this problem is Freddie and Fannie, and when you get the government involved in these things, bad things can happen. You do need some independent oversight. They were talking about bringing maybe Warren Buffett on board, Michael Bloomberg to oversee this major asset buy. But Americans have to think of this as, okay, we're buying up assets on the cheap, and we're going to be making money on them down the road. Hopefully, let's cross our fingers. But you know what we got to do is we got to get off the hamster wheel, and we can't allow this to happen again. And that's my biggest problem with this whole thing, is that, you know what, it puts no constraints on government, it doesn't break down Fannie and Freddie, which is the root cause of this problem, and it doesn't break up the big banks.
Okay, so many more questions, Chris, but we're going to have to leave it there. Chris Markowski, again, radio talk show host, former investment banker. Always appreciate your insights, Chris. Thanks again. Thanks
Pleasure,
for helping us
Michael.
out.